very tough. He's a very good athlete. He's all business, a very smart player, got a big upside. I think we're going to put him in there at guard, let him compete there, but he could also play right tackle. You know, he's all about football. And when you have smart guys that are just as passionate as he is, all of our picks that we had today are like that. You've got a really good chance to hit on a good player.
Jason, speaking of hitting, when you look at your track record when it comes to offensive line, whether it's Tristan Wirfs in the first, Donovan and Alley in the second, Alex Kappa in the third, getting Ryan Jensen, who didn't have a lot of experience, but a year, he becomes the best center in football. What is it about you and your staff that can identify offensive linemen and have these guys hit?
Well, it takes a village here. We've got a lot of great people that are involved in this. So I'm certainly not going to take the credit, all the credit. So, so we have great coaches. We have a great staff. I've talked about my staff over and over and over. But I think we've identified the traits, what we're looking for in an offensive lineman, and so far we've been very successful. Smart, love football, tough. Obviously have to have athleticism and traits as a football player too. But I just think we've got the right kind of guys that work together and gel together in that unit, which is very important.
How much will White's pass catching abilities help you with what you want to do in offense?
Well, that was a big reason that we liked him and took him where we did. He's been very involved in that offense in the passing game. He's got great hands. It's very important to him to be involved in the offense, in the passing game, and has a lot of pride in that. You know, so whenever there's a lot of backs that are 2-down backs, when you have a 3-down back, you put them up a little bit higher on the board for us, especially in our offense. So I think it's going to be a big. He's got a chance to be a big asset for us in that regard.
Jason, can you describe sort of what your day was like and how much demand there was for that top pick in the second round as far as phone calls and how much pressure you might have been under to trade it?
Well, our chef Tracy put together a great buffet, so that's how the day started. We had a lot of calls. We had a lot of people wanting to come up. Wanted to make sure that it had to be right. I didn't want to, with the limited number of defensive linemen in this year's draft, thought there was going to be a potential to be a run because of it's a premium position. So I didn't want to go too far back. Didn't have a lot of action in moving back, 2, 3, 4 spots. Even that would have made me a little bit nervous. But we did have a lot of calls. I think Greg was the one that tweeted out, we saw it today, that only 2 trades out of 33 in the last 20 years. So it's not as many trades as you would think. That shocked me when I saw that too. But we had a lot of calls, but only really a couple offers.
Jason, the first 2 picks were kind of obvious positional needs. This third, you kind of had a little bit more freedom maybe with that. What made running back the ideal fit for this last pick?
Well, truly, this one, we went with the best player on the board. So I think when you get in the 3rd round, and a lot of times in the 2nd round too, we went with the best player, 1st round for that matter as well. But in this one, it truly was the best player.
Jason, part of being a 3-down running back is you've got to be able to pass block to be on the field. And Rachaad has talked about in the past, at the Combine specifically, said there's technique, but you also got to have a willingness to do it. Is that something that you saw on the tape when watching him?
Yeah, 100%. A lot of these backs, I would say most of them in college, you can pick them apart for their pass protection skills. It's kind of a lost art. And so they just, as long as they're willing, as long as they're smart, as long as they want to do it, you got a chance to make them better and work on their weaknesses in that regard at this level. So we saw that with him. We saw the passion. This guy's a really driven guy with the chip on his shoulder. So when you have guys like that, you got a chance.
When you look at his running style, he's one of the backs that kind of emulates his game under his Le'Veon Bell, with more like an upright running style. Do you see that similarity, or what other backs would you describe his running style to be similar to?
Well, I don't want to, he hasn't put on a uniform yet or even practiced in the NFL yet, but so I don't want to compare him to Le'Veon, but I see what you're saying there. Just the style, he's very smooth. He's more of a slasher, more of an outside runner. He can still run between the tackles, but he's got great vision and great patience. He really sets up his blocks well, and once again, he's very good in the passing game.
Jason, with all the versatility Logan Hall showed in college, was there one area that you liked the most, like you felt that he's best at blank?
Well, we think with Logan, we think he can play the 5, the 4, and the 3 technique. We think that he rushes very well inside, and that's what probably piqued our interest the most. His value in the passing game is 3 technique. So he's got, a lot of natural ability. He's got a lot of room for improvement, just like all these guys. But I would say his rushing skills, his from the inside, is what we like the most.
Jason, with the versatility of Logan, does that shut the door on Ndamukong Suh?
No, we're not shutting the door on that. We still want to, there's a lot of injuries that happen throughout the year, and we're not putting all of our stock in the guys that we have right now, so wouldn't shut the door.
Jason, how satisfied are you with the night 1 of your draft?
I feel like a broken record. I think every year I stand up here and say, you'll never hear a GM say, I think we had a terrible night, So, but we all feel very, very good. I feel like cracking a beer, so that's a good sign.
How does it set you up for the final day?
I'm excited that we have the first overall pick again tomorrow. That opens up opportunities, possibly some trades and things like that. I'm not saying we will for sure, but I know that we can regroup here and we can take the best player on the board.
Jason, you've been pretty consistent in saying that you want to give Rob Gronkowski the time and space to make the decision on his own, but the fact that 3 rounds came and went and you didn't take a tight end, does that point to at least a muted optimism or confidence he could be back?
No, I'm still giving him that time. We still talk. I think it didn't matter if we drafted 2 tight ends, it wouldn't matter. I think Rob welcomes that. He likes having the more the merrier for him. So I don't think it had anything that doesn't show our hand on or foretell what's going to happen in the future.
Do you see Rachaad White as the special teams player? Did he play that at all in college, or do you see him in that?
We do. We talked about that a lot when we talked with him at the combine and here, and he's willing to roll up his sleeves and do whatever he can. He walked into our building here when we had him on a top 30 or a 30 visit, holding the football. And I said, "Why do you hold that football?" He said, it's just my comfort level. I just like to have a football with me. It's like the movie, The Program. So, but he wants to do anything he can to help the team. That's one of the things we loved about him.
Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Jason, good to see you.